This is a fun one I love to talk about because it's so rewarding, immediately rewarding, and it applies to new hunters too, old hunters, people that have been around for a while. It's something very exciting, and it's I'm going to talk about mock scrapes, but I'm going to talk about it, a lot of times people like putting a camera on it and getting a picture of a big buck. And if you want to look at how to create a mock scrape, then I have close to 50 mock scrape videos. And someone asked the other day, it'd be nice if you put a link to the video you're talking about. I'm talking about 50 of them. So go to my playlist under mock scrapes on my channel, or just simply go to YouTube and say how to create a mock scrape, and all my stuff comes up at the top. Put a mock vine scrape, whatever you want to do. Using the search function on YouTube is the best way to often find my videos, because they'll come right up at the top for the whitetail search term you're looking for, anything. But when it comes to the #1 deer hunting and habitat improvement, it's hard to beat a mock scrape. And I'm going to talk about why you really need to consider this. So many of you already do. But I'll start off right now. #2, right here, new hunters. Mock scrapes are awesome for new hunters. When a buck comes in, they're focusing on that mock scrape. When a deer comes in, they're focusing on that mock scrape. It becomes a very community social location, much unlike a rub or a fake rub. Put out mock rubs. Deer might hit it, does, fawns don't hit it, bucks sometimes hit it. But think about a rub in the woods. A lot of rubs that are made in the woods by a buck is hit 1-2 times at most during the entire season. There are some that are hit, that are carved out, but a lot of times they're hit one time and then the deer moves on. They might not ever visit that again. You can put a trail camera on it. You might never see a buck on that mock rub or rub again. Mock scrape, on the other hand, is incredibly social. Lots of deer come to it. They hit it over and over again. It becomes a part of their daily pattern. But when they come in and focus on that, they're not focusing on you in a stand. It doesn't matter if you're an old hunter or a new hunter. If you're a seasoned hunter or a new hunter, pull back, move in the stand. A lot more likely when they come in and they're staring right at that mock scrape. And we have lots of video when these bucks are coming in, a lot of times 30, 40, 50 feet back, they're already staring at that mock scrape. They're walking right to it. They're not paying attention to you in the stand. You can get away with a lot more movement. And in today's stands, the tree saddles, some of the stands out there, the way people hunt, a lot of the people are using ladder stands or lower to the ground. You can't get away with as much movement. So when you have that mock scrape and those deer focusing on that, great way to take the attention off a new hunter, let alone a seasoned hunter. And that's one reason mock scrape is such a powerful tool for deer hunting and habitat. #3, trail cameras. It's the same thing. When I look at a stand location, I think stand location, think about the tree. I think about a tree for a camera and where the mock scrape's going. I put one mock scrape at every stand location. Hunters will argue or discuss, comment on YouTube, how many mock scrapes should I have? Where should they go? The same reason you would put a tree stand in location, because it's a convergence of trails, it's a funnel, it's between bedding areas for cruising bucks, it's on the way to a food source, it's at a small food source, whatever that reason is the same reason you should have a mock scrape there. Because you want deer to define movement right to that mock scrape and continue on those patterns. You want to strengthen that movement over and over again. So when I have a mock scrape, I have a stand location, and then if I have the mock scrape, I want to make sure I have a spot for a camera. Doesn't mean I put a camera at every stand location, but all three of those go together. So that if I want to move a camera to that location, I always have a tree picked out. And the great thing is when a buck comes in, again, they're staring at the mock scrape and not at your trail camera. Those mature bucks, time and time again, you get one picture of them, they spook, you never see them again. And you might even not even see they spooked, you just don't see them again. And that's very, very common. So we put our cameras about 6 feet in the air. I use low cameras. We angle them down. The bottom line is if they're watching the mock scrape and that deer is watching the mock scrape too, they're not looking at the camera and certainly not, again, looking at you in the stand. So it's a great way to keep your cameras even more hidden, keep them from being detected, and keep from spoiling the area. And it's a very easy thing to do in front of a tree stand where you should never spook deer with a trail camera. #4, defines buck or deer movement. You'll find that every doe, every fawn that goes by, and some of those mock scrapes will hit that. And I'm talking about the vertical branches. We use vertical vines, vertical white oak branches, could be aspen, could be jack pine. Whatever bucks rub in your area and scrape under the most, you can use that. I'm using at least 6 foot long, 5 to 6 foot long or longer. We hang them about waist high, put on a completely flat area, and we put them right in the middle of the trail. And if you're hanging them from a line that's above 10 feet up or 12 feet up, then I'm creating a longer licking branch so it appears more natural to deer. The worst thing you could have is just a little 2-foot stubby thing swirling in the breeze, blowing around, setting off your camera. You want some weight, you want some rigidity. That's why, you know, people fool around with ribbons and ropes, things like that, but deer want to have something to push against. They enjoy breaking that sometimes. So you want to have that longer, you want to have it heavy. We go 3/4 inch to 1 inch in diameter. If the rope or branch that you're tying to it is a lot higher up, then I'm usually going with something more like 7 or 8 feet long. The bottom line is you're tying it so it's hanging right there, and it defines deer movement. Does, fawns, you want it waist high, belly high, because then fawns can use it as well. Look up on YouTube, and maybe Dylan can find this footage, but it's fawns dancing in scrape. From a long time ago. It's on, if you just put fawns dancing in scrape, I think that was made in 2016. It was one of our more early videos that we created. We put out a scrape around July 2nd, and within a week we had fawns, bucks, does hitting it, and you can see in the video those fawns are running all over the place. They're really excited. Whether we're showing that to you now or you go search for it, really easy to come up with. The more deer hit it, the more they leave scent on that. You don't ever have to leave scent. I'd recommend that you don't leave scent. We don't. The more deer hit it, the more they leave their individual unique scent out of the preorbital glands around their nose and eyes, and more deer hit that. But it defines movement. If you're at a stand, I'm a bow hunter at heart. So a lot of times, even if I'm gun hunting with, and I'm using a muzzleloader back in deer season, a lot of times I'm shooting that deer at 25, 40 yards, 15 yards, because I'm hunting my bow stands back in thick cover. I'm hunting a mock scrape. I don't want that mock scrape to be 40 yards away because I want to have a good bow shot at 22 to 25 yards, 26 yards, somewhere around there. So it's right in that sweet spot of movement. If you're a crossbow user, maybe you put that at 30 yards. But bottom line is, you put that where you can shoot it, and that defines movement. Buck's coming in, paying attention to that. He's moving in that exact location because that mock scrape is there instead of 10 yards further or closer to you where you can't shoot him, it's too thick or something. But he's going through in that exact location. It's a great definition of movement for, again, new hunters and seasoned hunters alike. And then number 5, great way to inventory all your bucks in the area, because if you have one solid mock scrape in a food plot system like we do where we hunt in Wisconsin, we'll get every buck in the area on that mock scrape throughout the season, typically 30 bucks plus. Bucks we would never even know. There's some bucks in there that even hit this year that I've never seen again. Just one time they've been there. I'd like to see a couple of those that we've never seen before again, but we'll find maybe a third of those bucks are in and around quite often. About a third are there once or twice, 3 times. We never get another picture, and about a third are there for a few days here, a few days there. But bottom line is we get to see them all. The more mock scrapes you put out, if you put out 4 or 5 for every stand location, then you're diluting the value of one. You're not going to get a lot of pictures at that one mock scrape location. So it's not a good idea. More is not better when it comes to mock scrapes. In fact, I don't recommend more than 1 per stand location. There's a muzzleloader spot I like to hunt in Wisconsin. I shot my buck there this year. The mock scrape's at 184 yards, but I can shoot to it or right around it with a muzzleloader or rifle if I wanted to use a rifle there. But bottom line, we're still watching, even though it's great for inventory. It's one of our best inventory areas. So I recommend if you have mock scrapes that are out of the way, or scrapes that are not reachable by shot with bow or gun or whatever you're hunting with, change the mock scrape location, get rid of other scrapes in that immediate area. And of course, you're not going through your woods cutting down scrapes, but the old thought was from people that taught this, and I always disagreed with this, you don't put 50 mock scrapes around a food plot, thinking more scrapes equals more bucks. That's not the way it works. In fact, a lot of times you can be pulling them away from your stand location. And in theory, if they hit 20 scrapes on the way to your plot in the afternoon, they might not even make it there by dark. So obviously more is not good. I've even seen people put them on trails going through the middle of their property, just saying more scrapes is better. And since there's so many around, they're not going to be right at your feet. Well, why even put them there in the first place? So again, hard to beat this improvement. A little bit of rope. I mean, we're talking a few cents worth of rope, a branch or a vine. You're hanging it from a little bit of rope sometimes, but a lot of times branches. Very easy to create. It's one of the most powerful, cheapest, and easy to make habitat improvements for deer hunting that you can make for this fall. I highly encourage you to try them out if you haven't already. Just take a look at any of our videos. Almost all of our videos, we have bucks coming in and hitting a branch that's hanging down. That's a mock scrape. No scent ever. Don't need it. Again, very cheap. easy to do, and probably the most powerful habitat improvement you can make outside of a food plot on your land or where you hunt for this fall. Folks, I want to make sure you check out my web class video series, whether it's how to design your food plot program or how to design your property in general. And we have a new one coming out that'll be how to hunt the rut. But these bucks back here are a testament. Some of these bucks go back to 93. They're even in different states. I urge you to check out those web classes so that you can help yourself, help your land, help your hunt. The link is in the description. And also for those that have tried them out, I encourage you to offer some feedback in the comments below. Thank you.